Okay, so hopefully you have an installation of WordPress rocking along here, either on a live site, a live hosting account, or perhaps you've set up a local installation, which is exactly what I've done here. And I'll be using this local installation on my Mac using MAMP, which I showed you not too long ago, for the rest of the training. So what I want you to do is I want you to log into WordPress. Again, whether that's live or whether it's a local installation or whatever you have. And your login is going to be whatever your URL is. So it could be, www.mysite.com, whatever it is. Or for me, because I'm running MAMP, it's localhost:8888/WP-admin. And then you'll have to pop in your username and password, and then voila, you're dumped into the back end of your blog. Wonderful. Okay. So what I want to do here is I want to just kind of, show you the sites here. I'm going to show you a couple of quick things, kind of get you comfortable in the back end here and this kind of thing. And I think for most people, it takes a little bit of time. I think it's like any software application. It takes a little bit of time to kind of get comfy in the back end here. But what's cool about WordPress is it's so logically laid out, and it's such a straightforward interface that you'll be nice and comfy pretty quick. So here we go. Here's our quick 5-cent tour of the WordPress admin interface, if you will. So first of all, over in the top left corner, we have the name of your blog. I called mine Jeff's Sweet Rockin' Blog. And you know what's cool about this, piece of text here or this visit site is I can click on it and it will show me the front end of the blog. In other words, what visitors to my blog would actually see. Now, as a quick aside, normally what I do, whether I'm running a local installation, which I am here, or whether I'm working on my live site, is I always, for whatever reason, I like to keep the back end open as well as the front end, and I kind of flip back and forth between the two. And what I usually do, at least here in Firefox anyway, is on the Mac here I hold down Command, or on the PC I hold down Control, and I click either on Jeff's Sweet Rockin' Blog or on this visit site. And what that will do is that will open the front end in a new browser tab, right? That's just kind of how I roll. It's just kind of how I like to work it, right? So then I can see the changes that I've made on the front end here, and then I can flip back to the back end and then make some changes and, kind of go back and forth that way. So hopefully that's all good. And by the way, a quick side note to my quick side note. I love this. In Firefox anyway, we have Command or Control 1 and 2 to flip between our browser tabs. So Command 1 will take you to your first browser tab. Command 2 or Control if you're on the Windows side, that'll take you back and forth between your browser tabs there. So cool stuff. Okay. All right, so back to our tour of the interface. Hopefully pretty straightforward stuff. Over towards the top right, we have a little button here, New Post, or a drop-down, Drafts, New Page, Upload Comments, that kind of stuff. So this is kind of like a quick menu, I guess you could say, a quick nav menu if you want to use that guy. Sometimes I use that guy to create new posts and so on. And then finally we have Howdy, and then your username, and then we have the turbo option, and then we can log out. I always make sure, maybe this is my own paranoia, but on a live blog, I never just close the browser tab whenever I'm done. I always make sure to log out. I don't know, probably just a superstition of mine. But anyway, hopefully all good. All right, now in the main area of our screen, we're looking at your WordPress dashboard right now. And the dashboard is comprised of multiple modules. So you'll see we have Right Now, and we have Quick Press, and recent comments, recent drafts, and so on and so on and so on, right? So there's lots of stuff here. So hopefully no worries here. Now, what does all this stuff mean? Well, first of all, right now, this is just kind of a quick, view of your blog. So right now I have one post on my blog. I have one page, one category. I have one comment which is approved, and it's just sort of like a quick view of like what's happening on your blog. That's kind of it. And then recent comments. So once people start commenting on your posts, you'll see the comments show up here, and you can actually moderate them and edit them and delete them and all this kind of stuff directly from the dashboard, which is kind of cool. And then we have this incoming links, and what that is you'll see different blogs linking to your blog here inside this module, which is kind of cool, kind of neat to know who's linking to you. And then plugins. What plugins do you have activated for your blog? And we'll get into talking about plugins in due time. And then we have Quick Press if you want to create some quick posts, super easy. Recent drafts, if you save something as a draft, it'll get, stored here. You can view it here. And then sort of some WordPress related content here. We have the development blog, the WordPress development blog. So you can kind of keep up on what's sort of happening with the WordPress development community. And then below that we have WordPress news. So it's always kind of nice to kind of glance down into the bottom right corner and just kind of see what's happening there. So hopefully all good. And I want to mention this really quickly here, and hopefully I'm not flying through this too quickly, but this is fairly easy stuff. I want to get into the good stuff. But what you can do here if you want, I'm kind of obligated to show you this, is when you hover over top of a module, you get this little downward pointing arrow showing up on the right-hand side of the module. See that there? So you can actually collapse these guys if you want. So if there's modules that you don't want to see or you don't really use them, for example, the incoming links, well, we could just collapse that down so it's not taking up real estate on our dashboard here. It's entirely up to you. It doesn't really matter a whole lot, but some people like to do that. And the other thing that you can do as well is you can rearrange this dashboard interface. So in other words, I could take Quick Press, for example, and I could drag him over to the top left of the dashboard if I wanted to, and then maybe I could take my Right Now module and drag him to the top right, something like this. You know what I mean? So you can completely customize and rearrange all of these modules to sort of suit your needs however you want, right? So if you want, you can do a fair bit of interface customization here. You can always sort of mess around here. And again, I'm just kind of dragging and dropping these guys around. Sometimes it's a little tricky to get the interface to, sort of play nice. But anyway, no big deal. It's all easy stuff, right? This isn't, we're not into the we're not into the rocket science stuff yet. So hopefully all good. So if you want to take a moment and pause the video and mess around a little bit with your modules, go for it. What's cool about the sort of the module interface or the module concept is you'll see the module idea or the module interface repeated in some of the different interfaces that we have in the back end of WordPress here. So cool stuff. Okay. Now another thing that I want to show you here is we have some screen options, again, related to our dashboard. We can do some further customization here. So what I can do is way up in the top right corner, we have screen options. And if I click on that guy, I get this expanding sort of header area. And what I can do is I can decide which modules I want to display in the dashboard. So say, for example, for whatever reason, I don't want to see the recent comments, and I don't want to see the WordPress news or the WordPress development blog updates, and I don't want to see Quick Press, something like that, right? And then as I'm checking and unchecking these guys, they're actually being removed from the dashboard down below, which is kind of cool. So I can come in here and just sort of, decide which modules I want and which ones I don't. And then, of course, I can always, come back in here and turn items back on, which is cool. So say I want something like this, and then I click on screen options again to collapse that down. Looks pretty cool. And then I go, well, I really kind of wanted that, that feed from the development blog. Well, I could pop back in here and turn that guy back on, or, turn my Quick Press back on and all this good stuff. So you can mess with this if you want. I just leave the defaults myself. I leave the default modules, and I leave the default arrangement. I don't really, concern myself with that kind of stuff too much, but you can also set the number of columns if you want. You can have a 3-column, a 4-column, a 1-column layout, whatever you want. And if you want, you can kind of scroll down so you know what I'm talking about here. But once again, normally I just, leave the defaults, something like that. So anyway, hopefully all good. Now I've gone and royally messed up my my dashboard interface. So I'm going to go and clean this up. If you want to spend a moment and kind of mess around a little bit, go for it. And I will catch up with you in just a second.